Hey everybody, Fifth Horseman here, playing more Kerbal Space Program, and we're on my new laptop. I'm hoping that things look better. If anything is wrong, please comment on the post. I'm still figuring this thing out. Okay, I have a maneuver node here that we're never going to do. This maneuver node is specifically, I put it on, I happen to have this thing 3 to LKO. I somehow left this thing in orbit. I don't even remember doing it. But I set up a maneuver node on him 157 days in the future. That gets me an even counter. And then what we're going to do here is we are going to fast forward. I've got a ship in orbit around Minmus here. We need to fast forward until Minmus is here so that we can leave Minmus and get in an orbit like so, so that when we want to eject ourselves to Eve, we'll be right here and all set to do that. I'm not going to do it this orbit because it's 157 days away. I don't know exactly what Minmus's orbit is, but there's one good way to find out, and that's to go into fast forward and watch how many days take place between, say, straight down and straight across here. So I'm going to fast forward to that point. Okay, it is day 53 of year 4 right now. Now it is day 66. So we've got 13, probably 12. So that's 24, 48, give or take 50 days in orbit. So we want to orbit 2 more times. Probably. Maybe 1 more time. We're gonna tell you what, we're gonna go here and we're gonna see what it is. Knowing it's roughly 50 days in orbit. See, we have 104 days. That should be fine. We should go around 1 more time. This is going to minimize our moon encounters, is really what I'm thinking. So we're getting close, and we're basically here. Yeah, if we leave Minmus basically right now, we're going to be able to nail this with our periapsis. So let's go ahead and jump to the ship that is going to Eve. Okay, and that ship is one of these mini NARs. We've got them. We might as well use them. And nobody spoke up and said that you were the one who wanted to land on Eve. However, Andrew Kerman volunteered if nobody stood up. So guess what, Andrew Kerman? You get to be the first Kerbal to land and return from Eve. Let's go ahead and undock you. You have full monoprop. You have full fuel tanks. You've got basically what the NAR has. This is like a mini NAR. I don't know what I would name them, but we're going to undock you. We are going to rename your vessel Eve Mini NAR, aka Andrew's Flyer. You are the only one going. There's we have no need for anybody else to go, so you're just going to be the only one to go. That's the way it's going to work. We need to now plan a maneuver node to leave Minmus. Okay, I'm back. It has literally been an hour or more since I last left, but I do recall Central Park and Fall. I recall that if I set this guy, not Kerbal Orbiter, this guy as a target, he has a maneuver node that I'm going to try to match my periapsis with. That is my goal. So if we go to Minmus here, if I were to burn like Nya, we would end up with a periapsis very, very close to that burn. That's actually really good. If we go just watching this periapsis come down, I mean, we might as well make it as good as possible because every meter per second here is going to save us time later. I think we're far enough away from the station and the other NARette, mini NAR, that we can aim at the maneuver node here without any fear of crashing. I think that seems to be a correct statement. Of course, you're doing it very poorly, but that's the way it works. Goodbye, Minmus Station. I think we can just set this thing to prograde so that when the maneuver node freaks out, it won't matter. We should also be watching. We don't actually care about this maneuver node anymore. All we care about is getting our periapsis down really low. say under 1 million, definitely. And probably under 100,000. And I hit Z instead of X. Well, that's why these guys have RCS on them. We probably aren't going to need any monoprop on this journey at all. So I'm just going to use it to slow down. Or, yeah, to slow down, which is raising our periapsis. We'll put our periapsis at about 100 grand here. And notice this is in 6 days. And we have 52 days before the window. So we've got a lot of orbits before we need to worry about anything like, oops, I was going to make it less than. 110, that'll work. That's definitely well within the anything we worry about. And the nice thing is we're basically going around Moon. The chances of hitting Moon are pretty low. But we don't really have anything to do until, first of all, we leave the sphere of influence here of Minmus. But we don't have anything to do for 50 days, so we're just going to follow this guy around as he orbits Kerbin. And we're going to make sure, we're going to babysit him and make sure he doesn't end up with a Moon encounter. And then when we get within about 20 days or so probably 2 or 3 orbits, we should, at our next apoapsis, assuming we're going to have one, and we will, we should set Moon as a target. And then at this descending node, we should fix our tilt relative to Moon, so that we are in the plane, and this is going to be a tiny little burn of 27 meters per second. And the reason we're doing this is so that when we eject to Eve, we're ejecting the right way. We were actually wasting some fuel because we were ejecting for Eve, which is in Kerbin's plane. Or if it's not, it's really close. And that should be really close. Yes, 0.0, perfect. Okay. Now at our periapsis, let's actually just add the maneuver and then snap it to our periapsis. And this is in 11 days, so we actually want to jump forward in orbit. So it's 31 days. That's very close. Yeah, that's got to be really close. I feel like if we just do like that, oh, it's just right frickin' there. What if we had a little bit of radial? I would just love to have an encounter. There we go. There we go. That's an encounter that we can then work with that when the time comes. And it is a very, very tiny burn. 230 some meters per second. I think that's fair. Let's aim at the maneuver node and make sure we don't get any Moon encounters. Yeah, I think we would know by now. We're so low that we actually can't go more than 100 times. That's pretty funny. And that's what I was worried about. That's a significant Moon encounter. We had to go outside of Moon's orbit first. Okay, we got to fix this as soon as possible. And we're hitting early, so I think if we speed up right now, and then we can do this here. Yeah, if we do significantly less burning, actually. So this is actually helping us. We're getting a gravity assist from Moon. Our second encounter is now down to 105 meters per second. And our first maneuver node is this tiny little 2 meter per second burn. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm proud to be a part of this plan here. Yeah, I guess before the game knows that you have a next sphere of influence encounter, you have to pass all the potential for the last sphere of influence encounter before it tells you. It is hilarious, though, that we had an accidental encounter with the Moon that's actually helping us. So this is a tiny little burn. It can't be more than a second or two. And I'm actually going to do it with... I'm actually going to just aim prograde. And do that. And then we're going to delete this maneuver node. And then if we go forward just the tiniest little bit here, that should do it. Now if we fiddle with this node now... Negative on the radial, and then negative. Oh, there we go. Boom. Done. Sold for $1. 2, 1, mark. Eventually we'll have a... Oh, there we go. Oh, no, we just lost it. So we'll fix it. We'll fix it here at the descending node in 29 days. And bam. Where is Eve? Focus view. Yeah, that looks really good. We can fiddle with that when the time comes. Okay. The problem is I have not yet built the ship that whoever is manning this ship, Andri, is going to be taking to Eve. So let's go ahead and hop to the base here. Okay, this little base needs to build the ship that's eventually going to go to Eve. So what we want to do is we want to show the UI. We want to select a craft. And what we want is one of these two ships. I don't remember which one it is, so I'm going to go to the VAB and I'm going to figure out which one is which, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, over an hour later, we're not launching the Evelander or the Evelander 2. We're launching the Evelander 3. Because I found some problems, including lack of batteries and reaction wheels, which we won't talk about. We need 2,000 parts. We have 8,000 of them. So we're going to say build, and it's going to be on the Gilly LP Alpha. And we're going to say build. And it looks like it thinks it's going to be 12 hours. We're going to close the alarm, and now you're going to see this thing. I hope it doesn't explode everything. If it does, I may give up on the whole Eve thing. But here we go. We're going to finalize the build now. Really? I have no idea where it is. It said, oh, there it is. There it is. The funny thing is, nope, it is not correct. Oh, God. Okay, tell you what, I have a quick save from this thing on the launch pad. I'm going to restore from that quick save and then jump back up here and do this again just to make sure everything is okay. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. This thing is ready to go. Gilly Launchpad Alpha is where it is. We're going to say finalize build now. I hate this game. Okay, I hate to do it, but I spent the money. I spent the stuff. I am going to put this thing on the launch pad, and I'm going to hyper edit it up here so that it's landed next to the base here, and we can put Dan, whatever his name was, into it, and he can fly it to Eve. Okay, we have a problem. The Eve extraplanetary launchpad base is landed at the sun. The ELP Base Pro, which I guess, no, that's not it. The Francois flyer that's spelled incorrectly is landed at the sun. And the Evelander 3, you guessed it, it's landed at the sun. Okay, well, a quick save and reload or whatever, exit out of the game, etc., has caused my stuff to come back. We are at 2.6 megabytes or gigabytes of memory being used, so I think we are good to go. So finally, we can get this guy out of the sphere of influence. See if our maneuver node is still the same. It is, which is awesome. So now we can fast forward to that. I believe that is the next thing to happen, is the Mininar in 25 days. 2, 1, hit. And that's about right. Gilly's coming around this way. We're going to be coming around this way. That's pretty much perfect. Just going to get our angle as close to Gilly as possible, which I think is about like that. Yeah, we'll just have to fix the rest of it when the time comes. And that's not an aerobraking trajectory, but we're just going to have to make it be one once we're in the sphere of influence. And we can't trust this, but we have plenty of delta V on us. We've got $2,000 of extra delta V. We could probably, yeah, 300 meters. We don't even need to aerobrake, honestly. Honestly and truthfully, I almost don't want to. That's a tiny amount. And then let's burn a little bit to get our orbit. Touching Gilly's. Bring our orbit up so it intersects Gilly's, kind of. Seems like we need to go retrograde a little bit. And I don't know if you can hear my cat, but she totally agrees. She's like, I told you you had to go retrograde. That is hilarious that it's so much less, but hey, what are you gonna, or so much more, but what are you gonna do? Ah, this will get us an encounter right there. Okay, that's the burn we're gonna do. Whew. Let's aim at that maneuver node. We're in time warp, so let's aim at the maneuver node. We got nothing but time. We got 300 days before we gotta pay attention to Jewel. This mission could be completely done in 300 days. At least I think it can. 3 seconds before the burn, and the burn. We're gonna burn down until this comes around and touches us here. Or actually, it looks like we may have overspent our welcome here. Okay, tell you what, we got all the time in the world now. I hope nobody's watching this to try to figure out good ways to get to Gilly, because this is definitely not it. Just burn in retrograde until we're in orbit. Okay. Gonna burn our orbit down, so apoapsis is 20 at most. There we go, 19 by 18. That works for me. Okay, now for the fun part. And honestly, I don't know how long this episode's going to be, but as usual, I spent a lot of time doing it. We're just going to leave this thing in orbit. There's really no need for it. We're just going to go down to the base here. And honestly, it's crazy how quickly you can get things done. Okay, we're going to do that. I've had to do a couple corrections, like mid-course corrections here. Nothing major. Looks like we're in the sphere of influence, or the physics window. I've now targeted the correct ship. Andrea is not going to be he's not going to be very social with the rest of the guys. He's here to do a job, and the job he is going to do, and that job is to get in the flyer, the Eve Lander 3, I should say, and fly it to Eve. And what we're going to do is we are going to wait until Gilly is at apoapsis. And then we are going to burn to lower our periapsis with respect to Gilly. Our Eve periapsis, we're going to burn retrograde respect to Gilly to lower our Eve periapsis so that we come down. And then we're going to use a trajectories mod, which it seems to do okay when it's when you're not on a hyperbolic trajectory. The trajectories mod seems to know what to do. And then what we're going to do is we're going to aim at a shore, because that's the whole purpose of this lander, is to get water or liquid, whatever it is, the ocean, science from Gilly, because I've never done that before. That's the only science I've never gotten in this game. And I want to be able to say I've gotten all the science in this game with a stock vessel. Now, granted, I did hyper-edit this thing up. I was going to build it with extraplanetary launch pads, but the ship itself is completely stock, with the exception of the extraplanetary launch pads, with the exception of the Kerbal Engineer chip on it. But honestly, to me, Kerbal Engineer is stock, so that's the way that works. Now, here's the deal. This ship is very special, and you'll see it all in action next episode. But you will see that there's a command pod on top, and there's a rover, which I think is pretty cool. Hey, whatever your name was, guy who doesn't actually exist. There's a rover on this thing. I didn't put a plane on it, but I did think about it. And there's one of these things on the bottom. And the one on the bottom is the one that he's going to be in when he flies. So now we're on this thing, and this is what's going down to Eve. And he's got somebody watching him, which is kind of cool. You can't target a Kerbal, apparently. There we go. Sigrun the sea monster Kerman. He is going to watch you take off. These fuel tanks are to get to Eve. The rest of this stuff is going to be landing on Eve, and then we'll show you what happens when we try to get off. I mean, when we successfully launch from Eve and get back into Eve orbit. You may not have enough Delta V to get back to Gilly, but that's why the NAR is in orbit. Somebody can go and fetch you once you have successfully gotten off of the surface of Eve. There is no science on this thing. You were going to go take a surface sample and a crew report, and that's all you're going to do. We don't care about the rest of it. I guess that's it. Yeah, I was supposed to land on Eve this episode, but we had so many issues that I'm going to stop it right here. And we'll come back next time. We'll do the entire Eve mission next time. And then the mission after that, we will get the NAR to Jewel. I hope you're looking forward to that. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I did enjoy playing it. I am Fifth Horseman, and I will, as always, talk at you later.